This is you. Soft bed, phone in one hand, overpriced coffee in the other. Now imagine your dad forcing you into a stone box at age 12, shaving your head, slapping a black veil on you, and telling you, this is forever because some treaty says so. That was Tuesday for half the princesses in European history. Most of them stayed. A shocking number said, screw this, climbed the wall, and ran. You exist because people in silk dresses once chose freedom over salvation, and some of them got away with it. Today we're counting down the 5 royal women who took the vows, hated every second, and staged the medieval equivalent of a prison break. From quiet disappearances to full-on horseback gallops at midnight, these are the princesses who told God, the king, and the entire Abbey to get wrecked. Let's start with the one who waited 24 years before she snapped. Number 5. Margaret of Hungary, daughter of King Bela IV. Hungary is fresh off getting steamrolled by the Mongols that literally promised God that if the kingdom survived, he'd give his next kid to the church. Guess who the next kid was? Margaret gets handed over at age 3, raised in a Dominican convent like a sacrificial coupon. By age 12, she's already a nun, living on bread crusts, sleeping on the floor with a rock for a pillow, whipping herself for fun. Everyone calls her a saint in training. She smiles, says nothing, and waits. Fast forward to 1266. She's 24, still gorgeous, still locked up. Emperor Otto II sent a letter. Hey, marry me, I'll make you Holy Roman Empress. Dad suddenly remembers he has a daughter and tries to spring her. Pope says no. Vows are vows. Margaret could have left right then, everyone would have forgiven her, but she refuses. Publicly. Says she loves Jesus more than crowns. The court is shocked. The abbess is thrilled. Margaret keeps smiling. 4 years later, Dad dies, the political pressure vanishes, and suddenly Margaret starts breaking rules. She stops flogging herself, starts eating meat, sneaks out to help peasants, basically turns into a medieval party girl inside the cloister walls. Then, in 1270, she dies at age 28. Official story, natural causes, total saint. Real story nobody wants to admit, she basically willed herself out. Spent 2 decades playing the perfect nun game perfectly, then checked out the moment the cage door opened, even a crack. Escape doesn't always mean running. Sometimes it means refusing to keep suffering once nobody is forcing you anymore. Number 4. Gwenllian ferch Gruffydd, Princess of Wales, only daughter of the last real Welsh king before the English showed up. Dad gets beheaded when she's a baby. Mom dies of grief. Uncles keep fighting and losing. The English decide the safest place for a Welsh princess with dangerous blood is a nunnery far away. Age 6, she's shipped to Sempringham Priory in Lincolnshire. Shaved, veiled, done. She never sees Wales again. Fast forward 40 years. She's 50, still alive, still technically a Gilvertine nun. England is drowning in civil war. King Stephen versus Empress Matilda. Nobody is watching the Welsh borders. Suddenly, Gwenllian vanishes from the Priory records. No dramatic rope ladder, no stolen horse, just gone. Welsh chronicles explode a year later, claiming she escaped, rode home in secret, married a local lord, and had kids who kept fighting the English for another century. English chronicles say she died quietly in the convent like a good girl. One side is lying. Modern historians lean, she got out. The timing is too perfect, the Welsh story's too detailed, and Sempringham suddenly has a brand new tomb for a woman who supposedly died years earlier. Some uncovered tracks. Bottom line, a princess kidnapped at 6, spent her entire life waiting for the one moment England looked away, then walked out at 50 and went home to start a bloodline that never stopped hating the crown. That's cold, patient revenge. Number 3. Isabella of France, the she-wolf. But wait, different Isabella, younger sister of 3 French kings, born 1295. This one never gets the spotlight because her sister-in-law stole the show, but holy hell did she earn it. France needs an alliance with the Pope, so at age 9, Isabella is promised to the church. Age 12, she's packed off to Posse, the fanciest Dominican convent in Europe, basically Club Med for royal nuns. Silk sheets, private gardens, personal servants, but still a cage. She's smart, beautiful, and furious. For 20 years, she plays perfect princess, nun, writing poetry, charming visitors, waiting. Then, 1315 hits. Her brother the king dies, his baby dies, next brother dies, suddenly there are no male heirs, and France is panicking. Isabella is 20, still under vows, but now the only adult with Capetian blood who isn't married or dead. The convent gates fly open. Cardinals show up begging her to leave and marry someone, anyone to save the dynasty. Isabella says no. Not because she loves God, because she just hates being told what to do. She stays another 12 years just to prove the point. Finally, in 1327 her last brother dies, the direct line is extinct, and France quietly rewrites the law so women can't inherit anyway. The moment that happens, Isabella drops the act. She stops wearing the habit, puts on royal dresses again, starts throwing parties, and basically runs Pawsey like a 5-star hotel until she dies at 63. Never married, never had kids, never apologized. She turned the nunnery into her personal palace the second nobody could force it to breed. That's not escape with horses, that's escape with middle finger. Number 2. Daughter of the Portuguese king, cousin of Isabella of Castile. Portugal and Castile are trying to patch things up after centuries of war, so the treaty says Juana has to marry the Castilian heir. Juana takes one look at age 3 and says absolutely not. Age 6, she announces she's marrying Jesus instead. Parents think it's cute. Age 16, she's still refusing every prince in Europe, so they lock her in a convent to think it over. She walks in smiling, takes solemn vows the same week, and everyone breathes relief. Problem solved. Except 3 years later, 1475, the Castilian king dies, civil war breaks out, and suddenly Juana is the only legitimate alternative to her cousin Isabella, who everyone hates in half the country. Nobles ride to the convent begging her to come out, annul the vows, claim the throne. Juana says sure, but only if I run things my way. She walks out still wearing the habit, rides to the rebel camp, and spends the next 4 years as the official pretender queen, signing documents as Juana, by the grace of God and my own sword, queen and lady. Castile eventually crushes the rebellion, Juana gets captured, and Isabella, now queen, says okay, back to the convent you go. Juana laughs, agrees, walks back in, and lives another 55 years as the most famous ex-nun in Spain. Never took the vows back, never asked forgiveness, just kept the title princess and the nickname La Belle Treneje until she died at 80. She turned a forced nun escape into a full bid for the throne and almost pulled it off. Number 1. Christina of Markyate, England, born Theodora, merchant family, not even royal but so beautiful that the local bishop tries to rape her at age 15. She fights him off with a hanging tapestry, runs away, hides in a tree. Parents drag her back, promise her to a nobleman named Bertrand. Wedding night, she locks the door, gives a 3-hour sermon on virginity until the groom gives up and goes drinking. Parents lock her in a room for a year trying to wear her down. She escapes through a window, runs to a hermit named Roger who hides her in a tiny cell so small she can't stand up or lie down flat. 4 years crouched in the dark eating scraps. Roger dies, she moves to Margate, keeps hiding. Church finally forces her to take vows as a nun just to shut everyone up. She says fine, becomes an anchoress, literally bricked into a cell for life. Except 10 years later the bishop who attacked her dies, the husband gives up, and Christina just walks out. Starts her own priory, becomes best friends with the Archbishop of Canterbury, lives to 80, dies famous. From attempted rape to forced marriage to secret closet to burked up cell to running her own religious house, she never stopped saying no. Every time they closed the door she found a window. Every time they built the wall, she waited until it crumbled. That is the gold medal in royal, or almost royal, women telling the entire medieval world to eat dirt. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe before the algorithm locks you in a cloister forever.